Kasi kanina ang sagot, walang central control system, no, to turn off, let's say, the whole power system of the country, correct?
Sir, we have a control center pero walang single button to turn
it off. Okay.
Yes.
Now, can anyone just turn it off like that? Anong proseso pag turn off niyan? Sinong may approval?
Yun.
We have on-duty system operators.
So yung duty lang ang nando doon. Halimbawa, yung naka-on duty, kinurap nung isang kalaban ng bansa at sinabing patayin mo lahat nung yung area ng kuryente nung area yon. Can they do that?
What do you mean by corrupt? In-instructan?
Oh, in-instruct. Oh.
They should not follow.
Huh?
It's not part of their duty, sir.
No. What was that again?
Hindi. Ibig sabihin, sir, how could they do that? Why would they follow the instruction of other people from other countries?
In simple analogy, ganito lang yan. Ano? Sabi mo kasi, it can just be turned off just like that.
Yes, sir.
Diba? Now, ang tanong ko, sino ang pwedeng magsabi i-turn off yan? At kung merong ganyang order, ano yung procedure o yung proseso para i-turn off yan?
Yes, sir. We have procedures on how we operate our equipment and especially the grid. May mga responsibility po yung system operator as outlined dyan sa Philippine Grid Code, and then meron kaming mga internal procedures. Okay,
ganito na lang, para yun sa mga nanonood, no? Halimbawa, kaya nga binigyan kita example sabi mo yung duty, ano yun? Sabi mo, what did you say? The duty?
Yung system operator on duty, meron po kaming dispatcher
system operator on duty. Siya ang may kapangyarihan para i-switch on or i-switch off yung power supply, correct?
Yes, opo.
Okay. Dahil siya on duty, tinakot ng isang terrorist group, no? Tinutukan, tinakot. Sinabi niyang patayin mo yung switch na yan, turn it off. Can they do that?
Hypothetical po, kung halimbawang nasakop nga, nandun siya sa control center, that's possible. Kasi ma-operate niya manually.
Ano nga yung procedure pag turn off?
Meron po tayong...
Who decides? Is that the decision of the duty, ano yun? Duty system manager o ganyan?
Yes,
decision
sir,
lang niya yun?
It's a decision based on established procedures po. May guidelines po tayo.
May established procedure pala Ano nga yung procedure? Ano yung procedure?
Kung halimbawa po, merong maintenance, pwede niyang patayin yun. May emergency, may risk sa life, sa equipment, pwede niya pong patayin.
I raised a hypothetical scenario na terrorist group came into that place. Tinakot yung operator. Sabi, patayin mo yung ano, kaya niyang gawin yon?
Kaya niya po.
So, yun ang tinatanong namin.
Yeah, if it's possible,
so, ibig sabihin, the power to switch it on or switch it off ay nasa isang tao lang doon sa duty manager.
Not necessarily isang tao, isang team. Usually po, 3 tao yung naka-duty.
Isa, dalawa, 3. Ibig sabihin, nasa kamay lang nila ang desisyon. So, walang security feature. Wala man lamang safety measure or security measure to prevent that hypothetical scenario from happening. Is that correct?
Sir, yung details po, pwede naman namin i-discuss kasi kung sabi nyo nga, security yung involved. Pero public po kasi baka po hindi namin basta-basta ma-disclose yung process nung...
Sige, let's not go into the details. Yun lang gusto namin malaman. Kung may isang nasa kamay lang ng 1, 2, 3 tao pala, pwede nang i-switch yun
Yes, sir.
Alam mo, very critical yung issue that we are discussing here because one, bukod dun sa issue that Congressman Dan Fernandez raised and the chair raised, the question that actually needs answers is who controls NGCP? Is it the Filipino or the Chinese? Based on documents, sinasabi na Chinese. Kasi sila yung ano eh. Kaya nga, we're digging deeper. That's why we're asking questions. Now, you're telling us na yung meron palang power to switch it on or off is only in the hands of one or a few. Therefore, masyadong vulnerable yung sistemang yan. But I will ask that question later and elaborate on that, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Congresswoman Jinky Luistro and Mr. Chair.
Luistro still has the floor. The Honorable Luistro.
Asa mo na sa akin?
Mr. Chair, I came across this NARI, the one which provides the IT infrastructure of NGCP. Does NGCP confirm this? NARI.
Mr. Chair, I am not familiar.
May we place back on board the technical officer of NGCP.
Mr. Clark Agustin, please take the chair of Attorney Malyari.
Do you confirm that the IT infrastructure of NGCP is now NARI?
For the IT, it's not NARI, but we have equipment branded as NARI.
Okay.
Yeah.
Equipment is branded as
Some.
NARI,
Some equipment,
Some.
not all, yes, ma'am.
but you deny that IT infrastructure is NARI.
I'm not sure about the specific brand of our IT. And it's not, I think, not supplied by only one brand, ma'am.
Mr. Chair, I wish to remind our resource person that he is testifying under oath. So I hope you are giving truthful information to this committee. I understand that prior to NGCP, the IT infrastructure is ESCADA, a Filipino corporation. However, upon the assumption of NGCP, they converted to NARI, which is a Chinese corporation. Now, I wish to ask, what is the reason why you switched from ESCADA, a Filipino corporation, to NARI, a Chinese corporation?
Ma'am, I would just like to clarify. IT is different from the ESCADA. So, ESCADA is our control system. That's our system control and
Do you
data
still have
acquisition.
that ESCADA
Yes,
up
ma'am.
to now?
Yes, ma'am. We have a SCADA. Yes.
Are you still using ESCADA?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, all power utilities uses SCADA to control their power system.
If ESCADA has this capacity,
Opo, SCADA stands for System Control and Data Acquisition. You use it to monitor and control the power system in the case of NGCP.
and you're still using that,
Yes, ma'am. We need the SCADA to control our power system.
then why resort to other Chinese corporations if ESCADA has the capacity to provide the necessary technical aspect of the NGCP corporation? Why resort to NARI if ESCADA is still dependable?
Ma'am, our SCADA is just the tool. It's the system we use to control the power grid. So
How about NARI?
actually the brand of our SCADA as of now is
Mr. Chair,
NARI.
Mr. Chair, just a point of information para lang magkaintindihan. Hindi sila nagkaintindihan eh.
If you will shed clarification.
Yes.
Okay. You're acknowledged.
As a point of information, Mr. Chair, yung iskada, ginagamit yun lahat sa mga public utilities, either distribution or transmission. Ang ibig sabihin lang ng iskada, yung sinabi kanina, yung sistema. Pero yung mga mga equipment, pwede namang iba-ibang brand yun. Iskada is not a brand. It is a system of control. So, kung halimbawa, ikaw yung chairman ngayon, ikaw yung iskada, ikaw nagko-control ng dito. But we can use different brand of equipments. So, yun lang yun. It is not a brand. It is a system, control system.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Dago. The Honorable Jinky.
Mr. Chair, I acknowledge that we are dealing with a very technical matter. So, to give opportunity to people who are not endowed with technical know-how, I wish to suggest, Mr. Chair, that we conduct an ocular inspection of the NGCP IT infrastructure, including the system, and perhaps we can invite experts to guide the committee members in evaluating whether this system are the one which really are in main control of the operation of the NGCP, one which is Chinese-owned, or just equipments being used by Filipino citizens. That is a recommendation, a suggestion, Mr. Chair, from this humble representation.
Noted. We will make the representation for us to be able to make an ocular.
Mr. Chair, I wish to conclude on this point as my other questions has something to do with NARI, which information that I have is the IT infrastructure of NGCP. And with that, Mr. Chair, I wish to make this final manifestation that with all due respect to our esteemed colleagues and our resource persons, but it is indeed my humble submission that while we, in the face of the general information sheet of NGCP, only 40% is Chinese-owned, considering, however, the presence of Chinese citizens, one as chairman, the other two as evaluators of bid, the other one as chief technical officer, and NARI, which I believe is Chinese IT infrastructure. It is my humble submission, Mr. Chair, that it seems that the control over the NGCP has been compromised already in favor of foreign nationals. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Filipino people who are viewing us right now may not be understanding the significance of this inquiry. So, while I do submit that this is a very technical matter, I hope everybody will exert the necessary effort to laymanize in the same way that Yusek Garin did during her presentation. So before I proceed to my interpellation, Mr. Chair, I wish to request Yusek Garin to please enlighten the public. Ano po ba ang kahalagahan ng National Grid Corporation of the Philippines sa pagtaas ng presyo ng kuryente dito sa ating bansa? Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Yusek Garin.
As a transmission by itself, kasi yun yung nagko-connect, di ba? So kada parte ng electricity natin, may charges yan. Generation, transmission, and then distribution. So, ang generation, halos 50% yan. Transmission is a small amount. I don't know if it's 10%, ma'am. I'm not sure. I think even less. But ang importance is not just the charges. The charges can still be lower kung ayusin siguro yung mga taxes or yung pag-pass on nila ng yung costing nila, no? But the more important impact of a delayed project is, halimbawa magpagawa ka ng, Mr. Chair, paggawa ka ng bahay. If you do it in 2010, it's cheaper rather than doing it in 2020. May inflation, umaakyat din yung presyo. And that's what's the impact is to our households. Dahil mas mahal ang presyo ng proyekto, depende kung how ERC would treat that for their cost recovery. Pero nagiging mahal yung presyo, nagiging mahal din yung charges. And at the same time, other than the cost, yung capex niya, yung cost ng pag-build mo ng transmission, is yung ano epekto niya sa other players. Now, you have two sides May generation, tapos kung sino nagkukonsumo. So sa nagkukonsumo, I think IMAP and Transco can explain that better kasi sila yung nagbabantay ng presyo and they monitor the market. But on the generation side, halimbawa, there are projects na tapos na siya. Ang epekto, and it cannot sell the electricity because it's not connected to the grid. Some generation companies actually build their own transmission na lang. So it's costing also our generation rates. So as a transmission by itself, their own charges, maybe the impact is not as big as we expect, no? Pero ang epekto ng instability of the grid has an effect on the distribution, on the demand side and the supply side, ma'am.
In other words, Yusek Garin, is it correct to say, for the viewing Filipino people, pag mataas ang cost ng transmission, mataas din ang presyo ng kuryente. And that is the reason why we need to regulate the operation of the Ngcp, which is responsible for the national grid. Tama po ba, Yusek Garin?
Yes, yes, Mr. Chair. If it is in fact, I would go further. If the project is delayed, then umaakyat din yung presyo. So that's the effect to our people, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. To proceed, Mr. Chair, there are two
Mr. Chair,
important...
just a point of information, with the indulgence of our Congressman Luistro. Point of information lang, just one quick lang. Para kasi we're talking about the layman's po, no? Maraming nanonood sa ating mga Pilipino. Kasi mukhang medyo yung sabi na tumataas ang presyo ng kuryente. Transmission is only 10%. Ang generation na malaki, almost 50%. So when we say that, na tumataas ang presyo because of delay of transmission, mali naman yun. So nanonood, kasi mahirap, baka mga tao aasa. So ang totoo niyan, generation ng 50% and transmission only 10%. Kahit tumaas sila, konti pa rin, it's minimal, no? So generation, I just want to put it in context,
Mr. Chairman, that is a misconception. Huwag natin lituin
Thank you very
natin.
much,
Mr. Chairman,
Honorable Presley De Jesus.
if I may allow.
The floor is still with Honorable Luistro.
May I be
So
allowed to,
I don't think we're not here to negate each other. But these are questions and these are answers given by resource persons. Let's take it as this and let us discuss that in a committee level, okay? But we're not here to, so we're not supposed to be arguing with each other. So it's clear that the answer is transmission definitely has an effect in the increase in the cost, regardless of the percentage. The argument is, meron bang increase pag ang transmission? The answer is yes.